It's time now for Real Estate Update. With Usha Chandra of Globenet Realty, real estate is our world.
Now we're standing here face.
And ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this segment of Real Estate Update with Usha Chandra, the principal of Globenet Realty. And with that, welcome to the show, Usha.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's great to be back again.
Yes, of course, it is wonderful and good to see. There's a lot of activities still happening out in real estate, and there's many things that we look at. As per usual, let's start and begin with looking at the auction results, which always determines where we stand in the market. So what has been the auction results last week?
Yes, let's have a quick look at the auction results last week. Sydney market has gone a little bit up. The clearance rate was 83.8%. The total number of properties taken to auction was 668 and the cleared auctions was 497. Melbourne, the market is still very low, 54.4%. 510 properties were taken to auction, only 174 sold. As we know, because of lockdown, the market has been very low and slow there. Brisbane market is really disappointing to see. Brisbane auction result has gone down. It was 76.8% in the last record, and this last week's record was 68.1%. 191 properties were taken to auction and only 98 sold under the hammer. Adelaide 88.1%. Adelaide market is holding very well. 160 properties were taken to auction and 89 sold under the hammer. Perth was 63.6%. Perth market has been down as well compared to Brisbane and Perth. They were very similar results the previous week, but last week was only 63.6% and 15 properties were taken to auction and only 7 sold under the hammer. Tasmania, that was not enough properties sold, so there was no record to compare with other states. Canberra is 69.4%. It's gone down, very down there. It has been in 80s and 90s before, and only 45 properties were taken to auction and 25 sold under the hammer. So let's look at the clearance rate of the major cities. The clearance rate was 72.3% and total number of properties were taken to auction was 1,591 and only 892 properties sold under the hammer. So the results was very, very poor, except Adelaide. Everywhere the market was fairly down. I think the lockdown is the major cause of the results there. So that's the results for the auction over the major capital cities.
Well, that does tell a story, and if you look at the Sydney, 668 auctions. That's quite a lot. Looking at the current times and situation as well. So it is good to see, but that the markets are still clearing. The only area was the Tasmania, not enough to come on the board. Well, what has that equated to in terms of home values? As we know, that the auction, meaning if auctions go well, people come in with competitive biddings, and so that has an impact, a direct impact on the home value changes. So, what has the home value changes been in this last segment?
Yes, let's have a quick look at the capital city home value changes. Sydney, a weekly change was 0.4% and the 12-month change was 22%. Melbourne was 0.2%, the weekly change, and the 12-month change was 13.9%. Brisbane was 0.1% weekly change, and the 12-month change was 18.5%. Adelaide was 0.4% weekly change, 18.3% was the 12-month change. Perth was not, there was no change in Perth at all. So let's have a quick look at the combined 5 capital cities. The weekly change was 0.3% and the 12-month change was 18%.
So looking at that, the year-to-date change 16.2 and the 12-month change at 18. So if you sort of average that out, about 17%. And that's what we've been talking in the last few segments, that about 17% change in the growth, which is pretty good result considering everything, and it's wonderful to see that the real estate market been holding very good as well. Well, right now, one of your favorite subjects is listings. Well, let's talk about listings and see what the market has and how many properties have come on the market, whether the number of listings coming up are in a percentage-wise as well. Are they growing, or the people are holding back?
Listings are pretty good. Actually, looking at Sydney market, the listing was 5,851. New listings has come on the market, and Melbourne was 3,777 new listings. Brisbane was 4,240 new listings. Adelaide was 1,773. Perth was 3,772, and Hobart was 285 new listings. Darwin was 212 new listings, and Canberra was 301 listings. So the total combined cities, capital cities, the number of listings was 20,211 new listings. So the listings was quite up. The listings are there, but the sales were not happening there. But looking at the 12-month change, still Sydney, though it had 16,832 properties listed, but minus 26%. And Melbourne was the only plus. Melbourne and I think Darwin was the only plus areas where the listings was quite high. It's just 10.6% in Melbourne. Brisbane was minus 30%. Adelaide was still minus 22%. Perth was minus 16%. Hobart was minus 33.6%, and Darwin was plus. So as I said, Melbourne and Darwin was the only plus areas. Otherwise, Canberra was minus 40%. So all the major cities, there was minus except Melbourne and Darwin. And the combined capital cities, the total number of listings was 20,211. Total year to date was 72,969, and still minus 17.6% was the down.
Well, that's quite a good observation that you made there, that Melbourne and Darwin are the only two areas where the listings have actually increased. Even though the numbers might be different, but if you look at the percentage-wise, so Sydney is minus 26, while Brisbane is minus 30, in the 12 months change, if you look at that, and Hobart minus 33. So overall, and if you look at Canberra at minus 40, so overall what that's telling is that, people are holding back. If you look at Brisbane minus 30%, so there's 30% less number of properties coming on the market compared to the 12-month change. Whereas Melbourne is going into plus 10 and Darwin has got into plus 8, meaning there's more properties coming on the market now than in the 12 months. So that is quite interesting to see. But overall result looking at minus 17.6% for combined, if you look at all the combined ones. So that is what it is. So, looking at those listings. Now, of course, we always talk about private treaty sales as well, because not everyone, goes for the auctions. To gauge the market, we have to look at both the auctions and the private treaty as well. So what's been happening in the private treaty scenario?
Private treaty, Sydney was pretty good. Number of sales was 1,542. Medium price is 960. Sydney prices are holding very well. Melbourne was 1,259 new sales, and 730,000 is their medium price. The price is fairly reasonable there. It's gone down a little bit from 735 to 730, as we know, because of lockdown, and the properties was in plus 10%. So the properties, the listings are more there. Supply and demand, it's always the supply is more there, and the demand is not that high actually because of COVID, and the price is only 730,000. Brisbane was 1,081 number of sales, private treaty. 551 is their medium price. It's gone down by $4,000. 555 was the previous record, and it's has gone down by $4,000. Adelaide was 618 number of sales happened. Private treaty 515 is the median price there. Perth was 1,098 properties sold. 485 is their price, median price in houses there. Hobart was 139. So looking at Hobart prices, it's quite high. Look at Melbourne and Hobart. Hobart is 719 and Melbourne is 730. So it's quite a good market there. Darwin is 49 sales, private treaty 590 is their median price, and Canberra has gone down 41 new sales and 792 500 was their median price, whereas we were looking a couple of weeks ago 991 was their median price, and it was higher than Sydney. Let's have a quick look at combined capital cities. 5,827 new properties sold under private treaty, and the median price is $689,000. Let's have a quick look at apartments and units. Number of sales and in Sydney was 946, and median price is $690 over there. Melbourne was 560 properties sold under units and apartments, and 562 500 is their median price. Brisbane was 318 apartments sold, and 425 is their median price, still holding fairly well there. Adelaide was 219 and 366 500 is their median price. Perth is 351 400 is their median price. Hobart was 40 number of apartments sold, 577 500. Their median price is quite good there as well. In apartments and houses, if you look at houses, 719 in Hobart and 577 is their apartment price. Darwin is 31 apartments sold, 400 is their median price. And Canberra, 93 properties in apartments sold, 475 is their median price. So median price compared to all those places, the highest is in Sydney in apartments, and then compared to second one is, I think it's Hobart. Look at Hobart, 577, and then Melbourne is 562. So total number of apartments sold 2,558. Median price overall in the capital cities is 548,565.
Yes, as you mentioned, quite interesting that in Perth and Darwin for 400,000 you could put as the median price for units there. Considering everything, that's still quite high. And if you look at Perth, where the median price of the house is 485. Well, now, so let's move on and look at, of course, all of this, including the auctions and including the private treaty. So how long is it taking for people to sell the houses, and how long are they on the market, and are the vendors having to discount their prices, or are the prices holding well, or are they priced rightly?
Actually, looking at the major capital cities again, the median days on the market is 28 days in Sydney, and minus 2.8% discount, vendor discount. Melbourne has been on 41 days, minus 2.8% discount there. So they are not giving too much discounts in Melbourne, Sydney as well. Brisbane 35 days, 2.4% was the vendor discount. Adelaide is 32 days, minus 3.1% is vendor discount. Perth has been 40 days, minus 2.3% vendor discount. Hobart is 21 days and no discount there at all. Darwin is 45 days, minus 3.2% discount. Canberra 26 days, no discount. So only the two places has been 21 and 26 days. Others have been all over 30 days. So there is no discount in Hobart and Canberra in apartments. In houses, sorry. Let's have a quick look at the apartments units. In Sydney, 37 days, minus 2.5% discount. Melbourne has been 55 days on the market, minus 2%. Brisbane has been 48 days, minus 2%. 2.5%. Adelaide 35 days, minus 2.5%. Hobart is, Perth is, 44 days, minus 2.6%. Hobart is 18 days, no discount. Darwin is 60 days, wow, 5.1% discount. So there's quite a bit of discount there. Canberra is 41 days, minus 2.3%. Look at Canberra houses, there's no discount there, and apartments and units 41 days, double the time basically, and minus 2.3% is the discount.
So when we look at, say, let's take Darwin for instance, so what's happened there is now taking longer even for the houses, which have been on 45 days, and minus 3.2%. And when you look at units, 60 days and minus 5.5. But wasn't it quite different a while back?
Yes,
so what does that say? What does this mean when it's longer on the market and people are giving more discount to receive a sale?
I mean, obviously there is not much high demand on that, or the other thing is they might not be pricing it right, so the price will be down, and I mean the price is not, they're putting a higher price and the discount is getting higher, so that's demand and supply as well.
So that is quite indicative of what's happening in the market, I would say. All right. So, and as we mentioned that, every week we'll look at some of the topics. I think one of the topics that we're going to look at this week in this segment is, let's look at mortgage insurance. Many times people say, why do we need mortgage insurance? That's an added cost onto our loan. Many times people, but there are some special circumstances where people need mortgage insurance, otherwise the lenders would not lend to them. So first of all, let's take a look at this very short report, and after the report we will then have a quick discussion on the mortgage insurance scenario.
After years of saving, this young family is moving into their own home.
We are very, very excited. We want to just jump and skip these 2 weeks and just move.
If you have read through the contract.
But their first mortgage came with an expensive financial product.
So if you see the contract here, we have to pay $24,000 in the LMI.
Lenders' mortgage insurance is usually paid by people who don't have a 20% deposit. It doesn't protect them. Instead, the insurer pays out the bank if the borrower defaults on the loan and the property is sold for less than the mortgage.
They are trying to just pass on their risk to a third-party insurer.
The one-off payment is being added to their mortgage.
We would be paying interest on top of it because it's accumulated in the loan.
Nitin and Priya tried to save enough to avoid LMI, but house prices just kept rising.
That the same amount which was earlier 20%, that actually became 10% when the prices they increased.
The number of people taking out mortgages with LMI has risen from 218,000 in 2019 to 273,000 last year. As buyers continue to flood into the market, more than 150,000 borrowers got this sort of insurance in the first 6 months of this year alone. On average, 70% of them are first home buyers.
I want them to understand that they are paying for an insurance policy that doesn't cover them, it covers the bank.
One of the biggest suppliers of LMI is Genworth. It just posted a $60 million profit after seeing a 15% rise in policies being taken out. The other big player is QBE, and there's also some banks like ANZ that are now doing LMI in-house.
Banks are starting to cotton on to the fact that they can make money off these products. My issue with that is they're then incentivized to push you down the LMI route.
The finance sector says that LMI gets people into the property market sooner while giving confidence to lenders. But QBE, Genworth, the major banks and all of their lobby groups wouldn't do an interview to defend the product.
What happens in a down market? If prices were to start falling, that's when this whole thing could come unscrambled.
Analysts urge borrowers to learn about the dark side of LMI, which Helen and Joe Tolan discovered when they defaulted on their mortgage.
So there you are, up to date on the weekly real estate update with Usha Chandra. So, we were talking about that mortgage insurance and why and how people need this. So, what has been your experience with the people that you've been dealing with?
Yes, actually, the people have to have at least 20% to get out of that mortgage insurance. If you have got 10%, you definitely have to take mortgage insurance. And mortgage insurance is between 11 to 20,000, depending on the borrowing. And it covers, as the buyers have said, it covers the bank, not you. So if you are defaulting, it will pay the bank, and then you still have to pay the default interest and all that, and whatever you have defaulted, you have to pay. So it's always good to have 20% or plus to borrow, so you can just you don't have to go through mortgage insurance, and that's a lot of saving. The problem over here is with the buyers with 10% deposit, so they have to go with mortgage insurance, and it's a hefty cost to the buyers as well.
And what about the other scenario where people, when people go with the normal lenders, or sometimes people have to go to a non-conforming lender when they don't have enough paperwork and what's known as a low doc loan. So have you seen that happening in the...
Yes, a lot of low doc loans are happening at the moment because their criteria is a little bit more relaxed than the banks. So, but still, you have to go through mortgage insurance. We were talking a couple of episodes ago. We were talking about mom and dad's bank. So it's always good to go to mom and dad and borrow that extra money from mom and dad to cover your mortgage. You don't have to go through mortgage insurance then. You'll have more than 20%. So it's better to get the professional advice from mortgage brokers or your banks, and get the help from mom and dad to have that more than 20%.
So the bank of mom and dad to the rescue. Yes, of course, that scenario we did discuss, and that is one way of overcoming this mortgage insurance is, build up that 20% deposit, even if you have to, borrow from your mom and dad or someone that, within the family. That's a very good advice. And if you are able to do that without getting into trouble and without causing family feud, as they reckon, that would be a good way. Well, right now, just in conclusion, what's happening in your area? Any property that you would like to talk about, or open houses?
Yes, we have listed another property at Normanhurst Road, 192 Normanhurst Road. It's just come on the market, offers over $599. This is the 5th time I'm selling that property. It's just amazing. It's a 2-story home with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It's going on the market, offers over $599. We have just listed another one in Chermside, so that one is open house this Saturday. We still have already have got an offer, 2 offers on the property. We're negotiating. Hopefully we might have to cancel the open house. With rentals, we had a couple of open houses last Saturday. We have got about 9 applications on one of the properties, and the other one we have already rented out. So we had 2 rentals last week. They're both one is under application and the other one is already rented out. So we are still looking for more properties. Our buyer database has increased. We have got thousands of buyers waiting to buy, and we are still doing marketing and letterbox drops and telemarketing to look at more listings. Hopefully we'll get more listings to satisfy our database of buyers.
Well, that story about the ripple and about the ripple effect of prospecting and marketing and being present in the area. Well, of course, it is all happening, and wonderful to see that the open houses are once again taking place, and even under these current conditions with the check-in and everything that needs to be done. So it's amazing how the industry has adapted to the changes and the demands of the current restrictions. So wonderful to have you on the show, and all the best for this weekend with the open houses, and thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's about all we have time for today.
Globenet Realty, Globenet Realty has been the longest established, trusted and respected agency in its trade area. Usha Chandra, Director of Globenet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetralty.com.au. Globenet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. Globenet Realty. Real estate is our world.
And don't always trust on autopilot. Well, of course, glad to do it manually. Well, right now, because sometimes it does do things which you are not ready for. But right now, it's time to say goodbye from this segment. It's been wonderful having your company as usual. And remember that tomorrow we have the travel updates with Tanvi Goyal of Oz in Travel, which is also looking at another sectors where we look at what is happening and what you can do under the current rules and regulations. Whether you need vaccination certificates, what are the time limits, what are the flight options available from various cities, should you need to be traveling at this point in time. All that tomorrow at 10 a.m. And remember that the format again tomorrow would be 10 a.m. We'll have the news update and the daily India report with PIO TV. Then at 10 a.m. our specialist program, which for tomorrow will be the travel updates with Tanvi Goyal. Until then, it's goodbye from